We're gonna dine with kings. We'll have the finest things. Carve our names in stone.
Welcome back to the Upstroke podcast channel. This is stage 5. Woohoo! We're getting there. I've had a great week. This has been a lot of fun. The research gets a little tedious at times, but it's adventurous. So I like that. I've enjoyed this entire journey actually. And I'm really looking forward to getting some traction get some interviews going. So we are looking at searching and applying for jobs today. I've been doing a lot more than that as well, but we can get into that a little further. I'm getting better at practicing on the software that I'm using, so be patient with me today. It's the first time I've actually used this stuff to be able to share my screen. The other times I've kind of faked it, but this time we're actually doing it. So learning new softwares is just part of this whole journey for me. Trying to make things a little more streamlined. We started this episode series because this has been one of the most important things for me since my stroke, is rebuilding my career. So I just wanted to share my journey with you, and hopefully it motivates some of you out there as well, that things are possible. There is life after this. And even for people that haven't gone through a physical traumatic event, a lot of people are looking for jobs out there, and just going through it with other people might be helpful. That's what I think anyway. Thank you so much for everybody that's reached out as well. This has been phenomenal. Your comments in the YouTube comment section have been great. Snebjorn, hope I'm saying your name right, and Tanya. Some of these things even have led to phone conversations, which have been awesome. What a great community. So thank you very much. Thank you to all the subscribers. We broke 200 this last week, so that's pretty exciting for me. 800 to go. I think we're on 212 today. So wonderful. I hope you're enjoying the content. I'm going to flip around a little bit today and have to use my glasses because I'm old. So bear with me as I clunk through this software. If you do want any of this information or the outlines or any copies of the stuff that I show, shoot me an email. That seems to have been working pretty good. I can save it as a PDF so you can open it up pretty much anywhere and on any device. Let's get into it. Stage 5. Glasses on. So far, everything has just been organizing, right? So now it's where, for some people, is the scariest part, is getting out there. And just some of the things that I've done that I've gotten a little bit of traction on is, so step 1 is choosing where to search. Where are these jobs? Who are the employers? Now that we've determined the types of jobs that we want to do, and we just keep refining it down. So I focused on disability-friendly employers, remote and flexible roles. That's where I focus majority of my time. Job boards that understand accessibility, and communities, Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups, where people talk about real work. So it's been really good for me to get into some of these jobs and just look people up that are, first of all, my contacts that I already have. So thank you to all of you that have answered my call or have gone back to me and let me pick your brain a bit on the job that you do, and what do you think about it? I'll be doing some more of that as well. I got a couple phone calls today that I'm really looking forward to. I've decided to narrow it down to a couple of things. I really want to pursue this whole filmmaking thing. So that has been the majority of my time and attention this last week. And it feels really good to have made that decision and have direction now. So now I just got to fill in all the blanks and pieces, the gaps, right, in order for me to achieve that. And I believe it's achievable, so I'm going to go for it. So I'll share with you some of the things that I've put together. So where to search? I put together a list of remote job websites out there. Most of them are very similar, so they're pretty easy to walk through. And if you want the list, just like I said, shoot me an email, upstrokepodcast@gmail.com. And I've been through all of these, not in great detail. Each one of these is free, so that's the key thing for me. They make their money from the businesses that are posting jobs. But you do have to set up an account with each one, and some of them you have to save your resume to it and your cover letter. So the resume for each different application, I'm basically keeping static, keeping it the same. The cover letter obviously is very different, and I'm kind of deciding when and where to even discuss my stroke. With a lot of these jobs, it really doesn't matter. So the key things for this list is, number one for me, that it's free. I hate paying subscriptions, probably because I forget to cancel them. 3 months later after not using it, I'm like, oh geez, I'm still paying $20 a month for this thing. So this one's free. All of these are free, and they're 100% remote. I guess there's options on some of them where you can set the settings as to if it's partially remote or fully remote. So this first one is called We Work Remotely. So like I said, they're all pretty much the same. Sign in, so you need to set up an account as a job seeker, as an employer, and then that gives you your profile. It'll ask you for your resume or if there's any documents that you want attached to your account. And then they all have some kind of a search tool over here. So just to give you an example, search categories. Let's go with sales and marketing. Countries, I don't know if that's a huge deal, so I'm going to leave that blank. Salary range, let's go for, we'll go for the lowest right now and see what kind of results we get. 10 to 25,000, and then apply filters. And here they all are. Really quick breakdown. I don't know how they rank them. Oh, this is by latest post 4 days ago. So right there, these ones would be in the top, would probably be they've paid a little bit extra to have their ads placed at the top. So Grand Central Optical, an evaluation manager. A little bit about the business, and then a little bit about the role and the job. Apply now, or you can save it and come back to it later. So this is where I've not set up an account yet, so we'll need to do that, which I think I will do for this one. I enjoyed this one. So we'll close out of that. Arc. I always like a video at the front because I like videos, as you all know, which is why I do what I do. So yeah, they're all pretty much the same. Find jobs, set up your account. So pretty cool stuff. And I put down, I think I have 15 of them here. Yeah. Some of them specialize in certain lines of work. Some of them are more general. A couple of these are very well known. Hiring Cafe is well known. Jobspresso, Remote 100K. So these are jobs that pay 100,000 plus. Remote jobs. Data, sales, management, design, operations. Lots of techie stuff in these too. So, I mean, they have virtually everything. Check them out. So going through this exercise, I'll just show you a couple of the forms that I've created for myself, and I just keep referring back to those. So all this information comes from the previous stages, but it's good for me to continue to go back and reflect back on what I've filled out. This is one of the first ones that I did that I just keep going back to. What's important to me in a job? Creativity, human connection, problem solving, exponential income growth potential. So this is where I really like jobs that have kind of no ceiling on them. I'm not a big salary person. I wouldn't say no to a salary, but if you're busting your butt and you're doing better than everybody else and working harder, then I think you should make more. So I like being paid for the work that I actually produce. It's called a variable income model. Remote or partially remote. And that I add value to a business or an employer. Again, this is so important. Desk and computer work for the most part. Talking on the phone, I can still do that. So this was an important one for me. I think it's important to remember this isn't about casting the widest net and getting thousands of resumes out there. I think it's a matter of continuing to refine it right down and being very targeted, aiming with intention. We need to know what we want and what is going to work for us. Something that we'll get excited about getting up in the morning. So in doing that, I've had to set a goal of weekly application targets. How many am I going to send out a week? And I put that in my calendar. Right now, it's 1. I can do that. I research the business, the company, that industry, and then I evaluate how likely I am to be successful at it and succeed at this. I list all of my obstacles and my solutions around them, and I do that all in an Excel spreadsheet as well. So every resume I go through and make sure that it applies to that job, and I'm really keeping it fairly static, like I said before, but the cover letter is it is very custom, and I keep probably 70% of it static, and I customize about 30% of it because I want that cover letter to represent me and my skills and how I believe I can add value to that company. Every cover letter is very intentional. And then I track every application. I list every business that I send one of these out to, any email responses and any dialogue that comes back, and I track all of that in a spreadsheet as well. I keep all the contact information if they provide individual contact information. Most of these things when you're applying online are just going to an HR person. Not that they're not important, because they are very important, but they're not the people that are going to be making that end decision. So I want to try and customize it a little bit to who I think is going to be reading this document. So we don't get, in most cases, we don't have the individual's name in who's going to be reviewing this, or even the HR manager's name. And because I'm tracking it, I'm able to track what's working and what isn't working. I got a response on this one, and I believe that was because of this type of cover letter, and I mentioned these types of things. And then I copy that, I replicate that effort. If it hasn't worked, then I don't replicate it. That definition of insanity, right? It's important to advocate for your needs. I don't know if it's that important to do it at this stage, but it's important for you to keep that top of mind. And that goes back to these lists of what's important to you in a job and what you need to get out of it. The accommodations you might need, when and how you might disclose your disability, how to explain your strengths with confidence. The next one, we've touched on this a little bit, but it's networking and reaching out. So call anybody that you know that is in that industry or has a similar job and get their thoughts and opinions on it, on the industry itself and on that actual job. Even better is if you know someone in the company that you're applying to. That would be ideal. I think in most cases with a remote job like this, we probably don't know anybody. If you've ever used job boards, shoot me a comment, let me know how it went for you. which ones you liked, which ones you didn't like, and I can share that with our community as well. An important part of my journey is going to be education and training. So I've done a ton of research on what is available, what is out there for education in the film industry. There's a bunch of stuff out there. Most of it costs a bunch of money, and I'm not going to school, physically going to school, so I need to be able to do it all online. I reached out to a bunch of foundations and associations, and in some of them have been really good. Some of them offer programs if you are disabled, and even just changing careers. I've gotten some really good feedback on this stuff. I've also been able to find, by going through this exact same exercise with some of the same organizations, where they'll fund my first project, so there's grants available. So we've started that process in applying to 3 different organizations to be able to see if I'm eligible to get any grant money. Similar to the ones I've done before with the podcast, we've applied for that grant. No word back on that, just that it's being reviewed. And that's a 4 to 6 month process. So all of these take a bunch of time. So I wish I had started it 4 to 6 months ago, but I didn't. So here I am today starting it. And in 4 to 6 months, I think we've got, so we've applied for 3 at this point. I can just see the worst case scenario would be getting them all at the same time. I guess that's not so bad. But talk about biting out more than I can chew. So we're kind of holding back now. We've identified these 3. We've done our research. I have 2 more phone calls today with them. And before those phone calls, I go through and put together a list of questions. Anything that I don't understand about the application process, what they're looking for, who's making these decisions, what type of people are they, what are their backgrounds, and we'll see where this goes. At this point, I think that I can qualify for an $18,000 grant to do my first documentary. And part of that $18,000 is also education. So I found a couple courses online that look super cool. One of them is tiered, so the first one is, $600. So if I can apply that, and it is the foundation of documentary filmmaking. And then the next one is just the next level up, more in depth, more detail. So I'm going to see how many of these and how much I'm able to get as far as funding goes. Fingers crossed. But hey, if I don't try, I know the answer is no. So I have to try. And each stage that I go down, this vision becomes a little clearer and a little more defined. I start realizing new gaps in my skill sets, and then I add those to my education list. Actually, I think I can show that to you, what I have going there. So I've broken my education into these main categories. The ones that I'm spending the majority of my time on would be Camera and DaVinci Resolve. That's the editing software. And I'm really enjoying the applications that I've learned in doing this podcast. So that is all tying into this filmmaking. And I use DaVinci Resolve to edit my podcast. So then I break that down into a cell phone camera, DaVinci Resolve training. So these are the topics. And it's all online, what I'm using right now. So I throw a link in for every course that I'm doing. This camera my buddy got me, one of the viewers on here and subscribers, is phenomenal. This thing works so good, but it is tricky. So I'm digging into that. So I'm making a list of the gaps that I have and what I need to learn how to do. And I'll make some notes. And the way I'm building this is just as I go and the problems that I'm running into. So it's quite the undertaking, that's for sure. So stage 5 is definitely not about perfection. It's just about courage and getting out there and sending this information out that we've put together. And then get ready to manage the intake of any responses and keep refining it down. And the vision becomes more and more clear. If you don't feel you're ready, join the club. I definitely don't feel like I'm ready, but I'm jumping into the deep end of the pool. And it is exciting. It's fun. I think we just need motion. We need to start heading in a direction. And that's when the clarity and vision starts falling into place. So just start with one search, one email, one application to a job, and one conversation. Sounds simple, right? Good luck out there job hunting. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Have a great day, and God bless.
We're gonna dine with kings. We'll have the finest things. Carve our names in stone. We'll never die unknown.